Hey, everybody. Thanks for checking in to our latest TDR Small Cap podcast. I'm your host, Shad Dale. Sunday, August 18th. Where does time go? August already halfway through and summer is almost done, but cue the fall. As we all know in the cannabis industry, fall is a great time for stocks, and including stocks, we got 5 new ones for you here tonight, including, again, one cannabis stock, along with 4 other companies that we think might grab your attention because it's grabbed our attention. Why? Well, let's welcome in TDR lead analyst Bill McNarland. Happy Sunday evening. How's your week been?
Well, it's been fantastic. Yeah, it's been nice. Been down in Mexico, and that's been great. I think you're taking some time off too.
I am finally first time
Yeah,
in 2 years. And
fantastic.
anyway, I'll probably be looking at the phone every single day, but that's the, I guess, the mindset of a business owner, right? But
Right.
long story short, we got some big news, obviously, late last week regarding the cannabis space, including David Klein, the CEO, who has left Canopy. So we're going to have some news about that this week. At least Anthony will. But this show, as we've said before, is all about small cap stocks, companies that we actually like. Why? Sound companies that have grabbed our attention, and maybe some companies that you may be unaware of. So tonight we're going to run you through. It's a Bitcoin depot company, a private security company, yet another cannabis company, along with a tech company. And here's an interesting one. Beyond Meat. Was that not the story of the stock market back in the hype of COVID back in 2020? So let's get an update basically on how that stock is performing today, because everybody kind of like going back to some legendary stocks over the past 20 or 25 years, and it fits into that conversation the way it ripped. Almost $250, I think, at one point, was it not?
Yeah, it was just huge. Market cap ended up being $14.7 billion market cap.
That would qualify for blue chip stock in the S&P 500. But anyway, before we get started, all views on the Small Cap Sunday podcast and the guests on this podcast are purely opinion. You should not treat any opinions expressed by us or guests as investment advice. And the views on this podcast are solely intended to be informational and are not investment advice. Okay, first company. It's called Bitcoin Depot, trades on the NASDAQ under the ticker symbol BTM, located in Atlanta, Georgia, which is turning more and more into a hotbed for the crypto space. Current share price $1.56. Market cap is 97 million, and shares outstanding is 17.3 million, and daily trading volumes around 200,000. So, Bill, this company is in growth stage. So, how would you best describe this company, and why is it unique?
Yeah, so this company is a service provider to the Bitcoin industry. And I
Okay.
always find that topic very interesting. Instead of buying the actual currency, is there something else you can buy as a service provider? And so what they do is they put ATMs in different places like convenience stores where people can take cash and they can buy Bitcoin. This is one way that a certain demographic of people get exposure to Bitcoin. And I know it's a growing area. There were some other things of interest. We checked the stock first. We see that the stock has been a little rough this year. But I thought, well, I want to look at any service providers in this space.
When you look at a service provider, is it as volatile as, say, owning the actual currency?
It is, and where I'm interested in. So the stock's been all over the map, but what's interesting about it is it's a little different because the coins don't produce any revenue, they don't produce any income.
Yeah.
There's, some people debate what is standing behind it, but at least here we have financials that are behind it. So the first thing of the actual industry, we know that this is growing. What I was surprised, I did some research on the industry and I found out. In 2019, there were 6,300 Bitcoin ATMs. Now there's 38,000. So it's been a 5x in 5 years. And so this was something that caught my attention. I said, I want to learn more about this and find out what this company has that's interesting.
Do you have any idea how much that'll grow over the next 5 years?
There's a prediction that it's supposed to stay very strong. So they have some competition. So one,
Okay.
if you and I want to buy some Bitcoin, we're probably not going to go out to an ATM and put
No,
cash in. We're
no.
probably going to do something online. But there is a demographic that is still growing here that has legitimate cash, and they want to go out to a convenience store to be able to buy some Bitcoin. So what's interesting is with the
That's wild.
ETFs coming out, there's all kinds of people that want exposure, and there's different ways to get exposure. Just like we see today, that if there's people, there's different ways of paying your bills, not necessarily the traditional way that we do it online at the bank.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what caught my attention is this is a little bit capital light in the sense that they have partnered with institutions that have said, you know what? we'll come out and pay for the machines and split the revenue off it with you. So they see a real future in it. So it caught my attention. I said, we should look deeper into the numbers with it.
Okay, so that backs things up if you got institutions that are involved and like it too. But that's wild to think that people are actually buying Bitcoin through ATMs versus actual online. But hey, everybody has their own style, I guess. But I would think that that would be kind of like an obsolete business model. But surprisingly, you say it's growing. And, the numbers obviously don't lie. If it's gone from 6,000 different locations to almost 40,000 in 5 years, you can imagine how much it's going to expand over the next 5 to 10. All right, let's go to the charts. And what are we showing as far as revenue and gross percentage from the last year? What's it showing?
So we keep this in mind. The market cap is only $97 million. And we notice that the revenue is $629 million. So this is real
It's impressive.
for sure. So there
Wow.
was so there was a red flag here that their last 12-month revenue growth had dipped. It was minus 8.2, but their long-term 3-year was 41.1. But the revenue growth quarter over quarter is back up. It was up 18%.
Okay.
So it looks like that growth trend is still intact.
Yep.
But what was interesting, there's margin here.
Yeah. It's
They're
gonna,
charging significant fees every time someone wants some Bitcoin. There's 20% margin, and they don't have to do a lot of advertising. They put the machine there, they put a little sign. So their SG&A is only 15.1.
what kind of fee are we looking at per
I thought it
transaction?
was around 4 or 5%.
That's expensive, but hey,
Well, that's why, as an institution, you're kind of interested, saying, "Hey, let's split the capital costs on this and have a fee split."
wow. So
Yeah,
again, revenue we're seeing here on the charts is what?
the revenue was 629 million.
Wow.
This,
And
and the
gross,
market cap's only 97, and they have a gross margin of 20%.
impressive.
And
Okay,
so
we're
because of this, they have EBITDA. They have 31.4 million of EBITDA. So it's 3 times EBITDA, this company.
all right. Let's take a look at their balance sheet now. Current cash and working capital is showing what?
So they had 44 million of cash compared to a 97 million dollar market cap. Their working capital is $8
Whoa.
million. So this is cash. So this is very different from everything that people say against Bitcoin. It's not real. It's not backed by anything. This is the complete opposite.
Well,
It's making lots of money and it's full of cash.
like most merging industries, they're having to deal with the baby boomer generation. It's tough convincing a generation that built perhaps the greatest economy ever, but those times have since sailed. And we need change and innovation. And this is it. All right. So bring out your green check mark because moment of truth. Would you own this stock? And I think this is a hell
I
yes.
would. I would. They got cash flow. The institutions are co-investing. It seems like the revenue growth is back. The valuations are super intriguing. For me, if I want exposure to crypto, this is another option to have something that's actually cash and revenue back that gives you exposure to a fast-growing market. So for myself, I'd be interested in this.
A service provider in the crypto industry. Great find, Bill. Great
Yeah.
find. All right, first company's down. Next up, company based out of Toronto, Canada. It's called Avante Logixx. Trades at the TSX Venture under the ticker symbol XX. Current share price 75 cents. Market cap 20 million. Shares outstanding 26 million. Daily trading volume though is very low at 10,000. So tell me more about this security company, Bill, and what they do.
This is interesting. So this is private security, historically for high net worth families
Okay,
and people that are high profile. But they also do some stuff in the residential sector, protecting their homes, and also moving into the commercial sector. But recently, they bought an interesting company that's in Eastern Europe that does this internationally and also does crisis management. And what really caught my eye when I saw this company was who their investors are and who their clients are.
okay,
People may be not familiar with a gentleman called Prem Watsa. He's called the Canadian Warren Buffett. He's an investor in this. But when you take a look here at their chart of clients, we see this list of clients here. We see it
impressive.
includes,
Toronto
people
Star.
like Onyx, who is Jerry Schwartz. Again, Fairfax, which is Prem Watsa's company.
A lot of big
Some of the
telecom.
banks.
Yeah, a lot of big
Yeah.
telecom companies. Bell, Rogers, TD.
And now they bought this company, NSSG. They're based out of Romania, but they have offices in Egypt, Ukraine, Saudi
Wow.
Arabia, and 100 different countries. They have operations to be able to take care of crisis management and also protection services for high net worth and affluent individuals. So I'd never seen a company like this before. And based on who the investors were and stuff, I said, hey, this is something we should look a little deeper in. But then I saw the growth. The global private security market is expected to grow up to $504 billion by the end of 2032
Wow.
at a CAGR of 7.64. So this is a huge market.
Yeah, no kidding.
Uh,
There's a
yeah,
brand I haven't seen in a while, BlackBerry. Jim
yeah.
Silly, man. Remember those days? That was the number one mobile phone. That's going back a long time ago. But anyway, here we are today in 2024. Let's go to the charts. What did we see as far as revenue last year that was reported, along with growth percentage?
Yeah, so this is real. We see compared to the market cap of 20 million, they have
Yeah.
revenue of 27.4 million dollars, and they're growing. The last 12 months, so the growth was 32%. Last 3 years was 13.3, and they have some margins there too, 41% margins on it. So this was something that got pretty
Healthy.
interesting, caught my eye.
All right. SG&A and EBITDA. What did it report?
Yeah, so they have some spending there. They're in a growth mode of 44.7. Now their EBITDA came down to negative 1.6 million,
Okay.
but they're on the way, and we'll see this when we take a peek a look at their cash flow. That they're turning the corner into positive cash flow, though.
Okay, let's work to that then as far as working capital and current. I
Yeah,
guess what's their total assets as well?
yeah. So the balance sheet, well, their market cap, so they have, their ratio of liabilities to assets was 46%. So there's
Okay.
some value there, but their working capital 6.6% or 6.6 million. So it's almost a third of their market cap. They have there sitting there in working capital. So there's definitely some value here.
Okay. Next up, let's check about their levered free cash flow, which we always bring up. What did it show?
Yes. So their cash flow growth was 30.6% in the last 12 months, but it's turned the corner. They had $429,000 of cash flow, and they spent capex at 300K. So they've turned the corner into the real cash positive. They have strong working capital. They're growing. This I thought was pretty interesting.
So, what are investors missing with the low trading volume and the sophisticated investors that are on board here? Because will this stock, or do you think this stock could move here in the short term?
It's a small market cap. I think as soon as people start to get the knowledge out and they're learning about it, having a big name investor like that
Yeah.
is there.
Yeah. Of
Global conflicts are not going to change.
course.
They also have this newer company that they purchased too, which all these high net worth families or investors, if they're using their services, I think this will start to get out there in knowledge.
What's the Canadian investor's name? The Warren Buffett of Canada again?
Prem Watsa.
What's his net worth? Any idea?
I don't know. I don't have it on me, but it is significant. He was famous for getting similar to Warren Buffett. Loved the insurance business. Bought
Gotcha.
some challenged insurance businesses, turned them around, used their free cash to be able to invest, and then he had his time with BlackBerry as well in that transition as well and transaction. But he's famous, and this doesn't. There's been comments also from Warren Buffett too of how astute this individual is.
Okay. Moment of truth. I guess green check mark. Second
Yeah,
company here tonight, right?
yeah, that's interesting business for sure. I've never seen anything like this in the security side. So if someone wants diversification, it's very interesting.
All right, good to know. 2 down, 3 to go. Next company, third company this year, here this evening, and based at again Toronto, Canada. It's a cannabis company called Ayurcanna Holdings. Trades on the CSC under the ticker symbol AYUR. Current share price 60 cents. Market cap is 11.6 million. Shares outstanding are 195 million, and daily trading volume is like pretty much non-existing at 2,000. Bill, people love the cannabis industry, but I'll be honest, I've never heard of this company before. So who are they?
Well, this is a trend. We've been looking at some new names, and
Yeah.
we've been surprised what we found in the last 4 weeks or something. So this continues. This is a multi-provincial operator. I was surprised at um, how much penetration they had in the Canadian market. They
Okay.
have, for example, 1,600 retail locations in Ontario carry their products. Alberta, 750 retail stores.
It's impressive.
So yeah, so they really have distribution across the Canadian marketplace. And so we've been looking at these names, looking deeper to find out how their finances are and if there's substance there. And so I said, well, this looks like a name that we should go through.
Well, gone are the glory days of companies listed on the CSC and having a lot of success, but you're starting to see more and more companies become listed on the TSX along with SIBO Canada. And I wonder if that has some concerns as well. And like, you know, at one time, the CSC was kind of like the cannabis stock exchange, but those times have quickly changed. But what exactly is going on as far as this low volume? Like, why are people just not aware? What are they missing here?
Well, we just heard about it.
Yeah,
We
exactly.
cover the space a lot, right?
That's a very good point. That's a very good
Touche,
point.
right?
Oh, that'd be like Michael Jordan. Who we playing tonight? Well, if you don't know
Yeah.
who he is, there's a chance nobody knows who he is. But that was hilarious.
Yeah.
Okay. So they're in Ontario, and that is their largest market along with Alberta. So you pointed out some good Canadian companies, like you said, in the last couple of weeks. So let's go to the charts. What are we seeing as far as revenue and percentage growth of the past
So,
year? I
so
can't
put
get
it
over
in
that joke.
perspective.
That was
Yeah,
hilarious.
$11.6 million of market cap. So they're small. We know that, but the revenue was $23 million last year. So this is real.
Okay. Okay.
But again, we see a trend here. The growth has been wild. The last 12 months was 129%. The 3-year average was 173.
Wow.
So they just been clipping along, growing that revenue in the last 3 years. They got some margins here, 34.2% in margin.
Okay.
But the SG&A is still there. They're still spending. You can see why, because they have all these provinces they're in stores. So they're
Yeah.
spending on the SG&A. It's 49.1%.
Yep.
Their EBITDA is still minus 3.4 million, but we'll take a look at the cash flow in a bit, which made it an interesting story.
Okay. Levered free cash flow is showing what?
Leverage free cash flow last year in the last 12 months was $2.1 million. They've
Okay.
turned the corner
Okay.
into positive. And put that in perspective, that's 18% of their market cap in
Yeah.
1 year of free cash flow. So
Okay.
this is something that was interesting. And then we'll take a look at the balance sheet here too. We'll
Yeah.
pull up
Current
this.
cash, working capital
Yeah,
showing what?
yeah, the cash was $3.8 million with a market cap of 11.6.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're just heavy in cash. Working capital was a little bit lighter because they had some liabilities to take care of as well, 300K. But they a little bit debt heavy, 83.1% liabilities and total assets. But when you're moving into positive cash flow, that's going to start to fix itself, especially with that high revenue growth.
Ayurcanna Holding, huh?
Yeah,
You found some decent companies here in the Canadian space. MTL Cannabis was another one. Was there one more? I'm trying to remember off the top of my head.
yeah, we had the group that had the partnership with Shoppers Drug Mart
Yes.
as
Yes.
well,
You
and
found
then we
some
had
good ones.
and then we had the group out in Victoria as well, or
Yes.
Vancouver. Yeah,
All about
yeah.
execution and efficiency. All right. Moment of truth. Third company. Would you own this stock?
This is interesting to diversify. They've turned positive cash flow and it's very inexpensive valuation. And it's interesting to see how much their penetration is across the country. That's very difficult to do. And they've done that, they've executed.
Yeah.
And that growth rate compared to the overall growth rate of cannabis in Canada is unbelievable.
No kidding.
Yeah,
I'd never heard of this company before, and we cover the space. Well,
yeah,
time to reach out to them, maybe get some
yeah.
exposure for them. But good find once again. All right, fourth company, and here we go. This is an interesting one to say the least, and it'll grab a lot of attention. This is a company that was perhaps the most talked about stock back in 2020 and 2021. Beyond Meat, which trades the NASDAQ under the ticker symbol BYND, current share price a little over $6, $6.06. Market cap is 374 million. Shares outstanding is 65 million, and daily trading volume remains strong at 20 million. I should say 20 million, not billion. Bill, this stock, as I said, was big back in 2020. It's now trading at just over $6. Everyone knows this stock has been crushed over the past few years. It was almost $250 at one point, but there's a lot of vegan, plant-based companies. It was a popular trend when it kind of kicked off. I don't want to say it kicked off 4 years ago, but really the hype of it was written around that time. So what's happened with this company here?
I was really interested. I wanted to review it. I saw that it was
Why
super
not,
cheap.
right?
At the time it came out, I spent 5 years being vegetarian, and when it came out, I absolutely loved it because it was a nice treat or something to have something that was kind of junk food like, and it was still vegetarian. I saw it's super cheap right now, so I said, hey, let's take a look at the numbers. Maybe this is on sale. Maybe this is the time we can get this at a 95% discount.
This is a classic retail investor exercise right here. You look at a big company that has a lot of attention that was trading at 250, and automatically the emotions is thinking, this is $6. This could go up to 50 or $100, based on history. So walk us through what we need to be watching and being careful here.
Well, first we'll bring up the chart here, just looking at their income statement. The first thing we'll see is, their revenues, for something that was $14 billion in market cap, we see their revenue last 12 months is only 327 million. So it's quite
Wow.
modest compared to their multiple. But here's where it gets concerning. They got competition. There's other products that are coming out that are very similar or superior. Their revenue growth in the last 12 months was minus 11%.
Yep.
Over the last 3 years, their growth has been slowing to minus 5.5 per year. But maybe you say, okay, they come out with a new product. They'll get back in there. Maybe this was because
Yep.
of consumer preferences. Maybe McDonald's will take them on.
There's a
But
ton of
here's,
competition in this space.
yeah, but here's the problem. The number one problem, if we take one takeaway from this company,
Yep.
the gross margin is negative 1%.
Uh-huh.
It doesn't matter how much they grow.
You're not profitable.
When you're selling a patty that costs $3 and it costs you $3.03 to make before you spend any money on advertising or marketing or anything,
You are not profitable.
it just doesn't work. And the problem is at the price point, people don't want to pay $6 for a single patty
Of
or
course not.
$5. They can't push it farther. They can't get the McDonald's moment because a Beyond Meat Big Mac can't cost $16.
Yeah. Wow, look at the net income. I want to jump off a cliff.
Yeah, so you have this. The net income last year was almost the size of their market cap. So the next question is we have to look at their balance sheet to say, and also their cash flow, say, how long can this stay with how they're doing?
So what is their current working capital and
Well,
burn rate?
we'll look at the balance sheet here. So they have working capital of 234 million left. We saw that net income was pretty ugly last
No
year.
kidding.
If we go to the cash flow, though, it's not as bad as we thought. It was negative 73 million, but they're still spending 33 million on development, on research, and R&D. Because of this, they're looking for new products. That's almost $100 million of cash total that's going out, and they have, as we see, working capital 234. Can this be around in a year or two? I don't know. I think something dire has to happen.
Well, with all the methane gas and red meat and, the cattle industry going back to 2020, this was a big trend that was pushing forward. But like you said, a lot of competition, and there's really not a lot of companies in this space that have been profitable. That's just the reality. And, I think as we fast forward 4 years later, we were quick to assume their life was going to change in a lot of drastic ways when COVID first hit. But once everything started to subside a bit, I think we kind of overreacted, and it looks like this stock is one of them. So, moment of truth. Is this on sale or a trap?
This is a trap, I think.
Okay. Well said. All right. Here's our fifth and final company. And I was reading about this, and I really, really like what you have here. Final stock of the evening, based out of San Diego, California. It's called Aurora Spine Corporation. Current share price is 21 cents. Current market cap 16 million. Shares outstanding 77 million, and daily trading volume, again, non-existent 4.3K. First up, this stock, for the most part, has been holding its own. They're also growing their revenue as well. So what can you tell us about the company and what people might be missing again here?
So here's a medical invention, let's call it. And
Yep.
is this going to be successful? It's always hard to tell until you look at the numbers. We see lots of these companies, they come out with they claim the next best thing, but they never get to revenue or they never get it done, and the companies fail. And I remember, 15 years ago being an analyst, and there would be a newer company like this, and someone would come to you and put it on your desk and say, can you tell me if this is going to work? And you're like, I don't know anything about medical.
I know.
How am I
I
going to
know.
figure this out? But look at the numbers. We can look at numbers to see, has the market taken this up? Is there revenue? And is there growth? And is it getting profitability? That's what tells you if something is successful on the medical side.
New technology is like a new idea. It sounds great, but does it work? And can you run a business around it? And that's what's happened right now. And we can't keep up with obviously everything that continues to advance. So, another important question when it comes to tech companies: do they have revenue, and are they moving to profitability, as you just outlined? So, based off of that, let's go to the charts. What are we seeing?
Yeah, so this is real. So they have a market cap of 16 million. Their
Okay.
last 12-month revenue was $15.5 million. They have proven that there's buyers for this. Their revenue growth the last 12 months, 9.1%, and the 3 years was 18.9. It's been growing at. So this answers our question. We don't have to decide how great this medical device is in that field or contact a back or spine specialist. We
Yeah.
can see that the market's picking up on this.
How exactly would that work? Any idea?
No, I went to the website. They have a video explaining it too with the founder there. I know that it was screwless technology in the spine. There was a lot of advantages, but I can see this just in the numbers that this is something that's popular. And the other thing too, that's compared to Beyond Meat, the gross margin here is 59%. So
Wow.
they can put up the price because people see a value in their technology.
Okay. 59%. EBITDA showed what?
Yeah, it's still minus 300K, but we'll take a look at the levered free cash flow in their balance sheet as well to take a look to see if they have the time. So why don't
Okay.
we, Arns will bring up our balance sheet here. They have, remember, a market cap of 15 million, but they have working capital of $5 million,
Okay.
and they have this fast growth that they're growing at. So this negative EBITDA of 300K is not that important, and we can confirm that when we look at the cash flow as well.
Okay. Why is it also important for a startup company when it comes to total assets?
Well, that's the whole thing. We want to make sure can they survive the burn, right? Because there's going to be a burn because this company could reduce their burn. Notice they're spending 52.4% of their revenue on SG&A, so they're trying to expand, and they could slow that back. But we want to see, because all of a sudden, if working capital gets short, investors get spooked and stocks fly down, and so they have lots of time here. Looks at based on the EBITDA, but we can take a look at the cash flow as well.
What's their cash flow working capital sit at right
Yeah,
now?
so we saw the working capital is 5 million. So we
Okay.
bring up this next chart here in the cash flow. Their leverage free cash flow was minus 900,000, but their R&D spending was almost the same. So they're where they're short on cash flow is just going into research and development, and that's an investment. And based on these numbers, if the company didn't grow, they have a 5-year road here of working capital. But with that type of revenue growth and margins, I think this company is going to turn positive cash flow in the next year.
Believe in yourself and reinvest, right?
Yeah.
Moment of truth. Would you own the stock?
This is really interesting. I like medical technologies. The cash flow looks like it's turning to be real. They're reinvesting in R&D, which can help future revenue. But this takes out all the complication with medical devices. The market believes in it, and they have the gross margin that they can push on to consumers.
Some good finds here tonight. That Bitcoin depot off the top,
Yeah,
healthy,
interesting.
healthy
Yeah.
margins, as well as the cannabis company that I haven't heard of, but man, they're producing what, 23 million in revenue, you said?
Hmm.
And then Beyond Meat is a trap. And then Aurora Spine Corporation looks to be like a great technology producing real revenues and as well putting a lot of research and development into the company with some healthy margins for early on. So all in all, there's our latest 4 green check marks and 1 X. What were you going to say?
Yeah. Well, as the show gets more popular, we might need the private security too.
Yeah, good point. All in all, how much time did you put in effort trying to find these companies?
Oh,
Surely
it is this. Yeah, quite some time. Takes a full day for sure.
yeah, I bet. Well, listen, I appreciate it. Leave some feedback and some likes for this man as the information that he provided here tonight with a lot of the research. Did you like the information? Do you have any questions regarding any of the companies? Leave some comments below. Let us know your feedback. We'll get back to you with some more information. In the meantime, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll check back with you next week, Bill.
Great. Take care.
Take care. Hey everyone, thanks again for watching. Hey, we're humming along, and it's all because of you and the audience and community that we're building. So again, make sure to smash on that like button and leave lots of comments. Who do we have up next? You let us know. Who should we interview? What companies? Is there anything you like? Is there anything we're missing? We're all here for you. Let's get on with each other and build this community for all of us to benefit. As usual, don't forget to subscribe to our channel because in the end, we wouldn't be here without you. Thanks again, everyone.